All right. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Happy Wednesday. We are back with another special edition of Harper Therapy Facebook Live. My name is Alina. I'm a therapist here at Harper Therapy, along with,
I'm Tony. I am also a therapist here at Harper Therapy.
and we are going to talk today about social media with teens. So, we see a lot of teens at our practice, and it's always tricky talking about social media and how to navigate this new world order.
Absolutely. Yeah, because social media is everywhere. And it's not, I know, like when I was a kid, we didn't even, there was no social media. There were
What did you
no
have?
phone.
Chat rooms? Did you have AOL?
Yes.
I
That's
had
what
AOL. We had AIM.
Mm-hmm.
So we're showing our age now,
Yep.
but yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's what we had. So those could be a little tricky too at that time. Parents didn't know a lot about it, but now we have this whole world of social media. So
Yes. And so I know again, I guess showing our age, when I was a kid, it was always because I said so. When, I was told, you can't go outside or you can't do this. But why? Because I said so.
Right.
Which at the time I accepted because that was the norm.
Right.
But we're getting to an age where now that's not. Like kids want to know why. And what I've realized is as an adult, like I really appreciate understanding the why. So giving that respect to our kids about it and having that conversation about why you feel there need to be restrictions on social media. There is no magic wand to be like, okay, restrict them to only Facebook because apparently only old people use Facebook, and and make sure it's only 2 hours and it's not. There's no magic like algorithm of how often kids should be on social media, but making them aware of what your concerns are, what your fears are, and creating those boundaries around it will help it be more successful. Where I think if you just play well, because I said so, or it's just not safe, but explaining to them and giving that respect of understanding why. Of course, age appropriately, because I know kids are getting phones and social media younger and younger.
Right.
But making sure that you also keep it age appropriate. But it's a good way to start setting up boundaries or expectations and teaching kids why those are important also for themselves and to be able to put that in place in their social media, their social life, with friends, all of that.
Right. So, okay, I have two questions. One, what are the why? Like, what do you think? What is the what are the why? What is the why for parents to not want their kids to just be going down a rabbit hole of social media? And two, what are some concrete boundaries that you think could be put into place?
I think that the why is going to be different for every family, and every parent knows their kid, they know their families. But I think the big thing is being aware of what your whys are. As a parent, I could say my fear of social media is it's a scary place and you don't ever know what you're getting. You don't know who you're really talking to. Right. Everyone can access that information and it stays there forever.
Right.
So just expressing that there's a fear of that and the ability to know your limits within it. I think even just as an adult, I'm realizing how far social media can reach and what it, how it's always there. And then as far as some good boundaries, there's some of the basics of like, okay, you can't I think Snapchat is the most popular one right now.
Yeah.
And it's where kids message the most. Limiting, because if you tell them no, they're going to find a way to do it. So maybe just setting that like, hey, okay, if you're going to use Snapchat, I have to be able to see it at the end of every day. Or, if you're going to, or saying you can't have Snapchat until like 12, because I know there are like 8-year-olds getting phones at this point. And while I would like to believe my daughter's not going to get into that until she's 25, it's really not likely.
Right.
But having, setting those realistic expectations with them and maybe even bringing them on board and being like, okay, so what do you feel like is appropriate? If you and again, this is, your family and what's appropriate with them. So figuring out like, can you have that conversation with your teen? Is that something that is going to go over well?
Right. And the other thing I was thinking when you were talking, Tony, is that like, I know for myself, there are times where I'm on social media. Like, I'm mostly on Instagram these days. And I'm not a huge social media person. Like, I'm not posting a lot of stuff. But it's so, like, sometimes you just get into that, like, scroll
Whole-
mode, right? Just go down the black
TikTok,
hole.
man.
Yeah.
TikTok is the worst.
Is it? I
Hours
thank
later.
God I'm not
Hours
on it
later.
yet. So yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
I think part of it is, as a parent, are you modeling that for your kids? Because like I know,
Absolutely.
like we're adults here, and we're having the same issue,
Mhm.
like of
Right.
going down that rabbit hole. Fortunately, as an adult, we're better able to discern if someone's not a safe
Right, lying,
person,
right.
or if this
Mhm.
is not credible, or you know. But like we're all bombarded all the time with the messages that social media is giving us. So, you know, I think it's also thinking about what is your own behavior and what are you role modeling for your kids too. Like maybe as a family, you can set a family plan. Like, hey, we're going to limit ourselves to this amount of time with social media today. Like I struggle with it too. Let's do this together.
Absolutely. Or even like you can't say to your kid, no phones at the table, and then there you are scrolling.
Right.
I'm guilty of it. I know I am. Where I'll tell my kid they can't have electronics at the table, but my husband and I are like scrolling through, not engaging.
Yeah.
I'm realizing it. I'm trying to be like, okay, no, let's put this down. So being aware of what you're doing at the table and what you're asking them to do, are you able to do it too?
Right. And I think that's a huge part of setting boundaries. You know, you obviously have your reasons for wanting to protect your kids, but also like, what are you modeling for them? So those are some tips. Anything else you want to add?
Not that I can think of, because it's a very, it's catered to each family, and you know your family, and you know what's going to work best. It's about finding that boundary.
And just expect that there's going to be pushback, right?
Absolutely.
Just expect that you're going to get a fight, you're going to get pushback. But ultimately, I think that's the toughest part of being a parent, is like doing the things that you know are right, and your kid not necessarily liking you. I mean, tough stuff. So
absolutely.
If you have any questions about this, or you think you need some more help with any of this stuff, please give us a call. We are here to help, and we'll see y'all next week. Thank you.